Yeah, as you can see, we took a quick break. I had to go for some beers. What is it? I got the little Christmas beer from Revolution. What are you drinking? Drinking the gummy?
This is the Don't Worry Be Gummy Hazy IPA from Noon Whistle. It's good.
Yeah, I tried both of them. I did like both of them. Thanks for bringing those. Yeah, we forgot one thing. So today is Sunday, November 29th, and it is Russell Wilson's birthday. Some fans we are, I guess.
Hey, happy birthday, Russ.
Yeah, and since we had some breaking news, Kentucky powerhouse basketball team just lost to Richmond, and Ethan made some money today.
Yeah, they're plus 7.5 today, so good on Richmond. They're a good mid-major program. So
there we go. So now we're on the topic of that. We're going to transition to college basketball. So this was the first week of college basketball, and so what are your first thoughts on what you've seen so far?
It's definitely a different season with 2020 and COVID with college basketball. They have the most stringent protocols where if someone in the program, coach, water boy, whatever, tests positive, they have to. The whole team shuts down for 14 days.
Wow.
So it's kind of been, there's been a lot of teams that are on quarantine or coming right out of quarantine that don't play well because you can't practice for 2 weeks and you got to come out and play a game. So it was an awesome first week. It's my favorite sport over any other sport. I love college basketball. Hopefully March Madness happens this year. But obviously Gonzaga had the most impressive performance. They are number one. They're going to be number one all year. They play it's an okay mid-major conference.
Yeah.
They got St. Mary's, who's always halfway decent, BYU, but Gonzaga, they dominated Kansas. Their offense is just so good.
Right. And kind of like my thoughts. It looks like it's going to be the top power schools on top. Yeah, Gonzaga, Duke, Kentucky. UNC's kind of back in the mix this year, in Villanova. And it's nice to see some other schools kind of making the top of the polls, such as Iowa, Illinois, and West Virginia.
Baylor's in there. Baylor's number 2, I think.
Yeah, Baylor is up there too. And no big upsets yet besides one we just mentioned.
Well, San Francisco took down Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, they beat them. Yeah, they beat them.
Was this yesterday?
It was either yesterday or the day before. They beat them 61-60. So
yeah,
that was a pretty big upset because Virginia's number 4. So
yeah, I knew they were up there. So that's a nice thing. Usually the whole term of college basketball, it just starts real slow in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you'll see an occasional upset on these invitationals.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see a little change of things. But with COVID, anything can happen. With COVID on the rise, it's I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of canceled games.
You'll see a lot of cancellations this year.
Right, because if a player tests positive, there's a likelihood that a lot of starters will, including that. And they're more stricter with their protocols. If one tests positive, everything shuts down. And it's such a smaller team sport because they only play 5 guys in the court.
Right.
So one tests positive, it's going to be a downhill slope from there.
Yeah. There is talk of trying to get rapid testing done like how they do in college football, where if you can still field a team of 7, I think is the minimum.
Yeah.
They're trying to get everyone tested day of, and if you don't have it, you can play. But it's just going to be a crapshoot.
Yeah. As you mentioned, college basketball is your favorite sport to watch. So, what are your favorite teams to watch?
Just the ones I have money on. I don't really have a favorite college basketball team. It's I like betting on college basketball. They're fun. But this year I'm going to follow Illinois a lot. They brought a lot back, and I think they have a decent shot to make the Final Four this year.
Yeah.
With 2 NBA players on the team and some newcomers. So,
Yeah, knowing me, I'm a big Badger and Iowa State fan. I like the Badger program overall in their athletic department, and I'm an Iowa State fan because I went to school there, and they're making a big rise in their sports. Basketball's on a little bit of a slope, but that's okay. Football's up there. I'm excited to see the football program go to the Big 12 championship game. If things go right, I think they will. And I like to watch Michigan State. Actually, I'm a Tom Izzo fan. I'm not a fan of UNC, Kansas, and Kentucky because 60% of the game is literally solely on recruiting because you see a lot of these one and done players.
Mm-hmm.
People will say, "Oh, Alabama's really good in football because they recruit the top recruits." True, but there's more coaching involved in football versus basketball. I think, in the college level, I think that if you have top recruited talent, they can get you. They can get you where you need to go for the 1 year they're going to be there before they head up to the NBA.
Yeah, and see, with college coaches, and I really think coaches in general, I think get too much credit for wins, too much hurt for losses. College especially, they are as good as their recruiting is.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these top coaches don't have a lot of good X's and O's. They don't run a lot of good offense. It's just put the ball in the best players' hands and let them see what they can do. So, a lot of these coaches like Mike Krzyzewski and, Roy Williams and Bill Self, all these guys are not great X and O coaches, but they get the top talent, and so then they are in turn thought to be good coaches.
Right, and you mentioned Roy Williams from UNC, and that's like a prime example because last year, maybe 2 years ago, I don't care if I'm wrong, he was struggling. And
the team wasn't good last year.
He straight up said, I don't have as much talented players. He just straight up said, I'm doing bad at this job because I don't have talented players.
Mm-hmm.
But a good coach, they make the best of what they have.
Exactly.
They teach them how to play the game. They don't take them, all right, do what you do, give me points.
Mm-hmm.
Or just follow this quick, easy scheme, offensive or defensive scheme and get us points and get us and stop people from scoring.
Yeah.
And it's coaches, when that happens, these coaches that are top pros, they get exposed like that.
Mm-hmm. That's why in the tournament you get these teams that are mid-majors that have these good coaches that have seniors and juniors that have played together and they run good offense and they play together and their coaches know what to do, can take out these high program because the coaches don't know what to do when they get behind. They don't run good offense and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of the magic of March Madness, where you put in these small school teams against these big school teams, and that's how these upsets happen.
Yeah,
because it's just coaching shows at the tournament, not in the regular season, because the matchups are different. Because there's lesser talent in these smaller schools, but then the great schools from these small schools show up for the March Madness against the big powerhouses.
Yeah.
That's how they get them. Just straight coaching and long-term talent.
Yep.
So, since we're talking about March Madness a little bit, do you have a handful of teams you predict going to the Elite Eight? Or are there any sleepers that are kind of under the radar at the moment?
So I think Illinois is going to
agree.
make it. I think that Michigan State's going to make it. I like their team. I like I like Baylor. I like Baylor a lot. See some smaller schools have a chance. St. Louis is a really good mid-major program. Obviously Gonzaga's gonna
Right.
have a good shot to be in there. Let's see, St. Louis, Richmond today. They took out Kentucky. I think they got a lot of pieces coming back from last year's team that could have went deep in the tournament. So those are my two mid-majors that I have a really good shot this year to make it a deep run in the tournament. And then the top schools like Gonzaga and Kentucky's always there too. They always start out slower in the beginning of the season, and then they play together more and more throughout the season. And because you get top talent, everyone wants the ball, everyone wants to play one-on-one ball instead of playing together. And so that's them. I think Texas actually has a shot this year. They have a lot of talent on the team, and they're older. And Shaka Smart really has to do something this year. Else, if he doesn't make a deep run in the tournament this year, I think they're going to fire him at Texas, and who knows from there.
Yeah. Kind of another question I just thought of is you say you like to watch these mid-major schools compete. Do you think they produce better NBA talent versus these large powerhouses?
No, I don't really think so. I think that these teams these big powerhouses still get the best talent, and talent's going to take you far more than experience, I think, especially in the NBA. It's very rare that these mid-major schools get a top, like Damian Lillard's one of them who went to Weber State. He was, but a lot of the top talent is from bigger schools.
Yeah.
Because they know that if they go there, they'll get exposure. They'll be on TV a lot, and that's why they get to go there. So, granted, there's always some diamonds in the rough that played 4 years at these mid-majors and are going to come to the NBA and star. But
right.
it's definitely the outlier versus the norm, for sure.
Yeah. I'm very curious of what would have happened if, let's say LeBron, he put into Ohio State. That's where his school was going to be if he were to play college ball in Ohio State. Do you think his, would things been different if he went to college first, at least played 1 year before he went to the draft?
See, those are one of the few guys that just didn't need it. There's some that used to go from high school to the pros that just weren't as good.
Right.
But there's some guys like LeBron that just didn't need it.
Right.
I don't think it would have helped him or hurt him or anything. Just would have delayed his NBA career by a year. And I think, looking back, Kobe went directly to the NBA. He was great right off the bat. Kevin Garnett, he was great right off the bat. There you go. But, there's a few guys there that just didn't need it.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I guess that makes sense. Jordan, before he went to the NBA, I mean, he was surrounded by real great teams. He was part of one of the best high school teams in the country. That's what people kind of forget is like, oh, Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team. Yeah, because his high school basketball team was the best in the country. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, he was surrounded by such great coaches and teams that kind of helped elevate his game to be to where he was.
Yeah.
Because, right off the bat in NBA, he was just good. Because he's been in the big spotlight plenty of times because he was at UNC for 3 years, I think, at least. Maybe 2.
I think he was a junior.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, when they won the championship.
Right. I mean, it's not. Yeah, you're right. These mid-major schools, they don't typically produce NBA talent, but they give these kids at least the experience and kind of the situational awareness of how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have really talented players that were one and dones, but then sometimes people are so quick to call them busts right off the bat in the first rookie season. That's because you're 20 years old and you're expected to know the full game of basketball. That's just
some guys need it.
That's just crazy.
Right. Some guys need it. Some guys don't. And so